It's Kurt. I continue to read Don Quixote, and there's this girl named Marcella who's very beautiful, but also wants to remain a and virgin. And this dude really wants to be with her, and she keeps on saying no. So eventually, he kills himself, and then all of his friends are pissed off at Marcella because they're like, "How dare you just not want to be with me?" And I feel like lots of men are like this. And, well, I'm not like, "How dare you?" I'm just like self-pitying, like I'm not good enough for her, and I like really beautiful women. Um, but Marcella basically gives a speech and she's like, um, it's not my duty to make men, whether beautiful or not, or smart and handsome or not, like, to be okay with themselves. Like, that's not my responsibility, and it is not my fault that this sad lad decided to commit suicide because I told him, oh, we could just be friends. Like, that's not on me. He's a fucking dweeb. And I just wanted to mention that I've gotten to the part where now they're on some mountain because they're running. Oh, also I moved, and that's why I still have to unpack. But I'm shooting up first. Um, but they've gotten to some mountain and they're with some dude who also lost a love to some duke or something. Duke's son. I don't really know what's happening there because he ran away because Don Quixote fucked up. Don Quixote is a fucking dweeb. Like, look, that's just an air bubble. That's all air. Fuck. I don't even know. Like, I got a new needle because this happened. And now I'm stuck in the same fucking place. Like, these needles fucking suck. I'm hoping that the CVS that's next to me now has my fucking script because this is fucking not okay. Anyway, I'm still gonna shoot up because if I don't, I'm gonna be sad. Um, but anyway, so that's about Marcella. The point of this video, I think Marcella's pretty dope. I'm kind of thinking about becoming a monk. Not a monk of any. Oh, well, now this is a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about, which was religion and why I wear this. I'm kind of thinking about becoming a monk of my own religion and just being like, fuck it, I don't need material things, including like to devote myself to someone. I'm just gonna be alone and with nature. You can never be alone because you're Brahmin. And be happy with that and devote myself to my studies. Because why not? I like hate playing this game of like people belong to people and all that shit because I don't belong to anyone. And I'm not harnessing myself to anyone. So I don't think I can play that game. Like if I find a cool polyamorous trippy hippie group, I'll join. But other than that, I don't envision myself ever being in a relationship, and I've never been in a relationship. So like fuck it. I don't care. Um it's not important to me. Uh Anyway, I'm not religious. Like, I don't belong to a religion. I'm my own guru. I'm my own leader. I believe that lots of the religions have something cool to say. I wear a cross because I'm preparing for crucifixion. I have two main paradigm shifts. One, I'm a strict determinist. And because of that, I have a proof for something that mathematicians have been looking for a very long time. I'm not a mathematician, I'm a logician, and I have a proof. I'm going to release it under Homer the Prophet because I don't want their money and I don't want their fame either. So be on the lookout for that. It should be ready sometime soon. I already have the part they're looking for, but I'm trying to figure out what to do about space and time computation because I don't know what to do there yet. And I'm trying to figure it out. But it's going to happen soon. And I hope it shatters some worlds. It it ended up like non-determinism does exist. It's just necessarily equivalent to determinism. So, I mean, I'm gonna explain it in my computational thesis on the nature of time. I don't know what I'm gonna name it yet. I want to name it the God Machine. Then that sounded like too much. And they're gonna be like, this person's on drugs. They're already gonna say this person's on drugs. That's why I wear my cross. Anyway, second paradigm shift, more important to probably the majority of my user base. And I don't want to sound like I'm special or important or smart. That's not what I'm going for because I think everyone's special and important and smart. So if we're all special, important, and smart, then I can't be any more special, important, or smart than anyone else. But I am special and important and smart because I am Brahmin. Atman equals Brahmin. Same thing. Same. I am an individual unit of Brahman. So are you. We all are. And then my second paradigm shift that is going to get me crucified is I don't think that they should label babies with gender markers. Because I was labeled with female with an F, which is cool. I love females. But it just so happens that I wasn't one. So my body is actually a male body, but it's a trans male body. If you don't get that, you're probably cis. And cis means that were assigned the right gender at birth. You get that privilege, where I was gaslighted into thinking that I was somebody that I wasn't, and then missed my puberty, had to go through the wrong puberty, became an alcoholic, then found weed and gave up alcohol because that shit's disgusting. But, you're doing this to every single trans person, then you think that the trans people should have a second puberty later in life when their bodies are already pretty much transformed into what they don't want it to be. Then they have to get a bunch of corrective surgeries, which they have to take time off of work and cost lots of money and have to have humans come take care of them. I don't really want to do that. I think that my cat can take care of me and me myself and maybe a robot. I just want a nanny robot, a robot to take care of me. That would be great for when I get my tits cut off, which I wouldn't have if I had been on puberty blockers and had taken my tea from a young age. So, I mean, I'm all for man titties. I like to play with my titties. I'm fine with it, but it's not okay that you expect this to be the norm for every single trans person. That's fucked. So, those are my two major paradigm shifts. And then also why I wear a cross is because, well, I don't want to be Jesus because Jesus already happened. But Ginsburg has this quote where he's like, Jesus didn't have no acid, but we were trying to do the same thing. Ginsburg didn't have no God machine or whatever you want to call it, way to break one-way cryptographic caches. I don't care what you call it, but I mean, that's not actually the God Machine. The God Machine is a different variant of that actually isn't a Turing machine, but it solves the halting problem. And it's a variant of my Turing machine that solves 3-sat and a polytime deterministically. I'm not supposed to be talking about this because everyone's gonna think, "Oh my God, Kurt, you don't have anything. You're just talking about it. You don't have anything." Well, I do have it. It just happens to be in my mind because I'm not ready to write it because I don't know about space and time. So why would I write it down when it's not complete? I think space and time are not equal. And I think space and time is a misnomer because you're technically giving it infinite time and infinite space in the opposite direction of what you're calling space and time. It's like space and time is when it's bounded space and bounded time, and studying what you can do computationally under those constraints. And you know how many people have proved what I'm trying to prove already, but they don't count it as truth? I'm just giving them a real world example of what they've already used my algorithm to break crypto, and I am going to show them how my Turing machine can be translated into that algorithm is basically what I'm doing. And I don't think I'm just ready to be crucified because, I mean, I don't think it's, I don't think anyone's gonna believe me. But someone's gotta say it. Someone's gotta say stop labeling trans babies cis, stop giving babies gender markers. Someone's gotta say it. And they'll say it in the future. Einstein was a strict determinist, so I think it's enough. But I understand if you don't believe me, because I don't really believe me. That's why I haven't written it down yet, because I'm not ready and I'm trying to figure out space and time. And I think space and time, the complexity classes, are not equal. But if they're not equal, that would mean there's something that you can't do in bounded time that you can do in bounded space, and you can't know something. So therefore, I think the way that you would break it is a self-referential paradox, because self-referential paradoxes encode infinity in things that you cannot know, namely when a machine ends, the whether or not your uh, paradigm is consistent and complete, and namely encoding things that you don't know in a consistent and complete paradigm, and not knowing algorithms, not knowing logical axioms, and trying to explain those with logical axioms, it turns into an infinite regress. And so basically, all these self referential paradoxes, all they are is basically showing that if you don't know something, it gets encoded into infinity, because with infinite time, you could necessarily come to know the thing that you currently do not know. But you can't encode something that you don't know into a uh, paradigm that you have declared consistent and complete because you don't know it. So, as long as there's something that you don't know, you can never have a consistent and complete paradigm. My idea is that a God machine, a machine that knows everything, could necessarily know everything. But in order to do that, it would have to necessarily be infinite, just like the universe, because we don't know when it's going to end. The halting problem won't resolve. I understand that, because from any point in space and time, you can't know when things come to an end until they come to an end, and then you can say this process ended at X time. But until then, you can't know, so it turns into infinity. That's what self-referential paradoxes encode. At least what I think they encode. I could be wrong. Still trying to figure out. That's why I haven't written it down yet. But anyone can take this and tell the Clay Mathematics Institute, I don't really care. At this point, I don't care. But Homer the Prophet is coming. He's gonna wear a Homer Simpson face mask, and he's going to tell the world what he knows. And he doesn't give a shit about his ego, because that's not the purpose in this. All he cares about is the truth, and he's gonna tell it, every last bit of it, crucified or not. So that is why I wear my cross, because I'm not afraid to die, and I'm not afraid to kill this ego. I'm not afraid of Stephen Cook. I'm not afraid of any of you guys. Because Einstein was a strict determinist, and at some point the truth's going to come out, whether or not I to say it or another version of Atman. We are all the Tao. It's the only thing that makes sense in the world.